Hey everyone, welcome back to Immediate Movie Reactions. And so I'm going to be super quick on this because I am kind of in the illicit zone. Um, if you watched my video after TMNT, I ran into an issue with the mall security of the movie theater. And even though the theater says it's perfectly fine for me to be here, mall security had a problem because, as you can see, there's cracks on the wall and they were worried for my safety. And I had to be in front of the cones, which are literally, as you can see, right there, right? So, like, that's the safe zone over there, and apparently I'm in danger. So, let's be quick before I die for my art or whatever the hell it is. Anyway, just saw Blue Beetle, and a movie that I wish I had kind of seen earlier. Not a huge fan of DC. I think I've mentioned this before. The movies have been generally okay. I think a lot of the later movies have been maybe even less than okay. I don't count the Batman movie in there. I think the latest Batman movie I love it. I love it so much. But this movie looked fun, and this is one that my kids were actually interested in seeing. For whatever reason, they didn't care about Black Adam. They didn't care about Flash. They didn't, any of them. They didn't really care. This is one that they really wanted to see, so here we are. We made it. And I am really, really glad that I saw this. I love this movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was just an incredible amount of fun. I am a sucker for superhero origin stories. Knowing only very, very little bit about Blue Beetle and Booster Gold and that whole thing. I think I've mentioned this in another video. DC has this thing where the heroes have the superpowers, but then the villains have the technology. And this is kind of a mix of both. There's this alien artifact. And a lot of that maybe doesn't really make too much sense, but who cares, right? It's a stupid superhero movie. I was very worried from the beginning of this movie because I think within the first 5 minutes or so, every beat of the story, every line felt rehearsed, felt like I had heard it before, and you probably have heard it before. I was really worried about Susan Sarandon being the bad guy. I thought she was going to be a little bit too much Willem Dafoe in the first Spider-Man movie, but she did rein it in. She knew she was part of a superhero movie, so there was a little bit of that, dastardly villain. But overall, I thought her story worked well. It was good. I thought Parallax, I'm blanking on the bad guy's name. I thought he was okay, even though maybe too much 90s Image Comics in the suit there. But this definitely was not a case of the end of Iron Man 1, where Iron Man is fighting Warmonger and it just kind of out of nowhere. This is something that builds to a thrilling climax. It was really good, and I thought the Shazam movies kind of failed. They kind of made this whole family thing dynamic, but this movie did it fantastic. The bringing everybody in, I thought it was exactly the way they needed to do it. And I'm sorry, I'm just kind of keeping an eye out here because I'm waiting for mall security to come running by. And I think it's the small details in this movie that I loved so much. There was some humor, there was some heart. Definitely touching. There was a moment, the family gets attacked by the bad guys in their paramilitary organization, and it was traumatic, right? It was dark. It was really good. It starts out very kind of PG superhero, but by the end it does get a little bit darker, does get a little more violent. And I mentioned what I liked were the details in this movie. The noise the suit makes when it moves, when he's being dragged across the pavement, he's fighting the bad guys and he's being dragged across the pavement, and you can see the scratches, the grooves left in the pavement. The family, when you have a family, especially the representation of the Latinx is absolutely fantastic in this. And talking about that gentrification of the neighborhood and what it means to be an immigrant in the country, but the fact any family that at home has a language other than English, we'll have two sets of names, right? We have it in my family. My family is from Laos, and we have the way we talk to each other and the names that we call each other. And then we have the names that we use when we're around Americans, right? When we're around cacao, when we're around, people at work or whatever, we have those separate names. And then they do this with I'm going to be really bad because I do not have a Spanish accent, but Jimmy, who, Jimmy Reyes, who is the main character in this, but then he's called Jamie when he's out, and the way they interchange that, going back and forth, I think is just absolutely fantastic. The nods, that Nana in this character, in this movie, she's fantastic. If this were a Disney Plus style show, she would be my favorite character week to week. She is absolutely fantastic. I think that it is those little details later in the film when Jamie sees his dad, and his dad is in a chair. The chair is covered in plastic. A nod back to that family and the house and the way their culture is. And even, the importance of that house and where the family has grown up, maybe not the same as like a family madrigal sort of thing. But the way they bring everybody in is just, it's authentic. It's great. There is sort of a Princess Vespa moment where, she picks up one of the characters picks up a weapon and just instantly is good with it, knows how to use it and whatever. George Lopez is fantastic. He's funny. This was a movie that unfortunately looks like has not done super well. And it's a movie that deserves more credit. Like I said, I love to see the hero learning, making those mistakes, figuring out how to make their suit work or how to use their superpowers or shoot their webs or whatever. Go, web, go, right? Like that stuff. I love that. I'm a sucker for that, especially when it's done really well. And my philosophy of superhero movies is you have to have that superhero do the thing that they're good at. And that's what they do in this. It's incorporating the family. It's learning to be the hero and utilize all where does he get those wonderful toys, right? Like those really cool moments, seeing him just throw out weapon after weapon and not kind of like a cheesy Green Lantern sort. I'm sorry if you're a Green Lantern fan. It's a good idea, but there's no I would say there's no giant energy fists, but there kind of is. So, sorry, spoiler. Anyway, this is a great movie, and I really, really enjoyed it. So, see it, stream it, or skip it. Please see it. I hope if you're a superhero fan, if you like sci-fi movies, please go see this movie. Let's get it going. I don't know, I'm not going to be the one that's going to change the public's mind on this. But I really hope that we see this. I love the inclusion of the Latinx culture, and in this case, the Mexican. We saw with Across the Spider-Verse with the Dominican, and I think the representation, they actually talk about that a little bit in this movie, like, hey, we need you to be a hero because we need you. And it's like we saw with Kamala Khan in the Ms. Marvel series, like, this is important, and these are great films, and it's a great representation of the family and the culture and the people and all that. So please see it. At the very least, when it comes out, it'll come to Max probably soon, unfortunately. Stream it, just get some eyes on it. This is a good film, so please go see it. And I guess I will see you all after the next movie. And I made it without security showing up. Score. All right.